I'm Rebecca Edelman. This is my outline. The Okefenokee Swamp is about 6,000 years old, and it's in danger. As residents of Georgia, I feel like it's our responsibility to prevent from the Okefenokee Swamp from coming into harm, protecting it to the best of our abilities. And one way that the Okefenokee Swamp is facing potential harm is with the failure to pass House Bill 71, which would allow Twin Pines of Alabama to mine in the Okefenokee Swamp. As a fan of the environment, I keep up with environmental news and happenings, especially those that are happening in my state. And to me, and as it should be for you, what is happening in the Okefenokee Swamp is concerning for me. It's important to protect the Okefenokee Swamp because it makes ecological and environmental significance to the Southeast America and to Georgia specifically. It also not only is important to Georgia environmentally, but important to Georgia's identity. In the course of this speech, I will explain to you why it's important environmentally, why it's important to Georgia's identity, and how to help it to the best of your ability. So why is the Okefenokee Swamp worth protecting? To start, the Okefenokee Swamp is very important environmentally. The Okefenokee Swamp processes a lot of carbon in the air. It has a significant amount of peatlands, and peatlands only cover 3% of Earth's surface, and it holds twice as much carbon as forests. The Okefenokee Swamp is also one of the most intact wetlands in America and has the potential to become a World Heritage Site, which is a pretty big deal. According to the Protect Okefenokee website, the swamp is home to over 40 mammals, 50 reptiles, and 60 amphibians, and over 200 species of birds rest their wings at the wetlands. And it's also one of the most biodiverse ecosystems in Southeast America. The Okefenokee Swamp also feeds two freshwater rivers in Georgia, which is the St. Mary's River and the Suwannee River. And St. Mary's and Okefenokee Swamp are already at a great environmental risk as of now. But the environmental impact is not the only impact the Okefenokee Swamp has in Georgia. It also has a very important identity impact. With the ecological, environmental, cultural, and economical changes that mining the Okefenokee Swamp would cause, it's important to prevent the mining in the Okefenokee Swamp. One of the easiest ways to do this would call your legislators and the governor in support of House Bill 71. And while it failed to pass this year, it will be revisited next year, along with the new bill that they're trying to draft that would protect the Okefenokee Swamp even further. The Okefenokee Swamp is very important to Georgia's identity, and according to a Morning Consult article, a survey revealed that if the swamp water was impacted, tourism would shrink in half. And tourism is really important in that area because, according to Atlanta magazine, 500,000 visitors visit the Okefenokee Swamp in a year and support 750 jobs and rack in about $5.4 million in tax revenue. The area struggles. About a quarter of the population is in poverty, but a lot of the residents there have stated that they would rather see the swamp remain intact than take any job opportunities the mining companies would bring. And on the environmental scale, according to the Georgia Recorder, bill supporters say that failure to pass this bill caused permanent damage to the hydrology of the swamp and potential extinction of rare species. Failure to protect the Okefenokee Swamp can have devastating outcomes. There would be more carbon in the air and a higher chance of drought and wildfires. In Savannah Morning News, Rhett Jackson, who's a hydrologist at UGA, University of Georgia, he says that plans to mine would lead to triple the frequency of drought. And the Okefenokee Swamp is already at a major drought risk, along with as a major wildfire risk. So this would make it even worse. In fact, he said over a 70-year period, the swamp was too dry to supply fresh water to the Suwannee River and the St. Mary's River, which supplies fresh water to the rest of Georgia. Along with the risk of drought comes the risk of wildfire. And these wildfires could potentially expose the peatlands, which have twice as much carbon as forests. And that would essentially, according to Georgia River Network employee Rena Ann Peck, and what she told Atlanta Magazine, the peatlands would turn into a carbon sink, into a carbon bomb, which would lead into pretty bad wildfires. With my final statement, I would like to remind you, the protection of the Okefenokee Swamp is not only important for the ecosystems and animals, but also important for us. So to conclude, we should do our best to prevent the mining that could happen in the Okefenokee Swamp area. With my speech coming to an end, I hope you understand the ecological, environmental, and identity impact the Okefenokee Swamp has in Georgia. We could prevent years of environmental damage that would be irreversible in the future. Let's take the future of our world in our hands and make it better, one place, one swamp at a time. As Jury, who used to work for the Okefenokee Refuge, said, "I don't care how much you say you're not going to harm it. If you take that chance and you harm it, you can't repair it." Thank you.